Hey friends, today we are playing with Spellbinders 3D embossing folder of the month. This is called Easter Egg Hunt, and it is a beautiful deep embossed background, and I thought it might be fun to experiment with stripes. So I got the color combination idea from this little piece of pattern paper that was in an old club kit 6x6 pattern pack. It's got a little gold running through it and then just an odd assortment of pastel colors. So I just went through my scrap bag and I cut a whole bunch of 1/4 inch strips. And then I used, I don't remember the name of this die set, but I will link it down below if you're interested. But I used these dies and I cut 3 simple shapes from this, which we will use in the center. So the first thing we're going to do is just glue these strips on a piece of 5x7 paper, and then we will trim it and run it through the 3D embossing folder and see what we get. I've never done this before, so I thought it would just be a fun technique idea to see if it works. So I might do a little and then kind of morph you to the end here just to speed up the process for you. But really, I'm just going to go in kind of sort of a rainbow order is how I was thinking this through when I was deciding on what to do in the way of color. And like I said, this is just a piece of, I believe this is hammer mill paper that I'm using. And I'm not going to worry about what hangs over because, like I said, I'm going to use my shears and trim that off. What I'm just going to try to do is butt everything up to each other so there's no white showing. That's my goal anyways. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, I've never done this before. I've seen other makers do ideas like this before in different hearts and, different ideas like that in different designs, but I've never actually tried it. So I thought, well, let's give it a try because this has such a detailed design in it. And I thought rather than just do a background, we would just try something different. So I'm just trying to butt that up against each other. And I went with 2 greens because there's a lighter and a darker green in that little striped piece. And honestly, I was just going with what I had in my scrap bag. I took nothing from a full sheet of paper here. Everything, actually, I think the majority of everything that I have used this month in the clubs has come from my scraps. I was really going to town using my scraps up this month. It was really invigorating. I have like an accordion. I think it's from Close to My Heart, maybe? An accordion file, paper file. I think it's 8.5 by 11. And that is what I keep my scraps in. And it's all by the rainbow. So then I have a folder or a section for foil paper, like mirror card and stuff, and a section for glitter. Because I love my specialty cards. So this is actually pretty simple to line these up. Let me just show you a little closer. That is pretty simple. And I mean, my blue is kind of a textured paper. I don't know if that's going to make any difference, but I think there might be another one here. Is it the coral is also a textured. This one's kind of a crosshatch textured, and that one's kind of a stripy textured. I don't think it's really going to matter. And having the glass mat underneath makes it so it doesn't really matter that the glue is getting underneath either. Like if I go from the edge to the edge, it doesn't really matter that the glue is also, because it's just sticking to this. And then that can just be washed up with the baby wipe afterwards or a spray of alcohol. Now these coral ones are cut just a tad larger than the 5x7 size because the 7-inch because that's how big the scrap was. So I went with it. And I got that coral color. Sort of. It's similar to the what's in the paper. They're not exact, but I think they're close enough to, you know, to get a nod to the paper. That was just my inspiration. I like to use pattern paper as inspiration. That's why you'll see me a lot of times bring pattern paper into my projects. I just like to coordinate with colors. I actually just ordered some more from scrapbook.com. I like to pick papers and then coordinate, just like I did with the bees last month with the honey jar. I really had fun with that paper. So I bought some spring papers from scrapbook.com just recently. I'm still waiting for them to arrive. So I hope to use those in the coming days when they get here with some new spring products that might be coming. Hopefully they'll coordinate. But I'm just like you guys. I am an avid shopper. I like my specials and my deals, and it's just part of being a crafter, I guess. So I just keep my eye out for the best specials. And that's one reason I started my group over on Facebook. So if you're not already a group member, you're more than welcome to join. I do advertise just some of the best ones that I find. Usually free shipping, and if there's like a 50% or something like that I find, I will put them. And I always let you know about Spellbinders offerings as well. But my group is Heartfelt Card Making with Spellbinders and more, and my link is always down in the description for easy access if you want to come over and share your makes with us. It does not have to be Spellbinders. You can share any of your card projects with us over there on the group. That's why I say and more, because we are just sharing crafty life together. I want it to be like a family. That's my goal. So if you want to be crafty with us and let me see what you're working on, I would love to have you. All right. Coming along just fine. I chose to use Nuvo glue today because it gives you a little extra wiggle room. It doesn't dry as fast as Barely Art glue. So for something like this where you might need to maneuver it if it doesn't, lay down properly, or if you misjudge, I like to use Nuvo. And then when it's something that I need to be super precise, I like to use the fine tip on the Barely Art. So I use both interchangeably. We are down to the end. I'm going to put this last one on, and then we will trim all around our card base and be ready to adhere. So I'm going to take my handy dandy Spellbinders shears, and I'm going to come along the card base, and I'm just going to cut here carefully. And the nice thing about this is these shears are non-stick, so the glue will not affect them, and you can get a nice even border. So I'm going to do that here on this side. It's always good to do this from the back. It just allows an easier and smoother cut. Now on this it did go over a little, so I'm going to go ahead and do it also here along this edge. Might make it look a little bit wonky, but that's okay. Once it's embossed, I don't think it's really going to make a difference. Okay. It just makes it look a little bit thinner there, but I don't think it really matters. So I'm going to remove this here. Then we're going to get out our die cut machine. I've got my die cut machine out, and now with the universal plate system with the Platinum 6, all you need to use your 3D embossing folders is platform A and platform D for 3D. That's the great thing about the universal plate system. It also tells you all of your cutting options here on the platform. So we are going to take our Mighty Mister, and I'm going to mist this one good time. We're going to put this in our embossing folder, like so. Close it down, put it right here, sit the D adapter on top, and run it through. It does get a little tight at the beginning, but then it goes through just fine. There we go. Okay, now let's see what we get. You ready? Oh my goodness. Look at that. It worked, guys. It totally worked. So cool. Look at that detail. Okay, so there is our stripe. Let me put the die cut machine away and we will finish our card. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to first add some double stick adhesive to the back of this 3D embossing. And then, since this already has 2 layers of cardstock with it, it doesn't have a whole lot of ripples in it. So I'm going to do another trick for layering this down on my card base, which is actually pretty thick itself. Usually I add this to a piece of paper. So I'm going to show you a way to do it like this. Also, if your embossing folder is not too wrinkled or rippled, this last little piece, it is going to overhang. I will have to trim it off. Always trim it at an angle so you don't cut your top card base or top card. Ask me how I know. I have done it many times. But cutting it at an angle really helps. Okay. So now, see, this is pretty smooth because I had 2 sheets of paper there already. So it's really smooth already. So I'm going to go ahead and do my corner trick here. Because this is going to be uber sticky, I'm going to go ahead and peel these backers off. Put this up in a 90-degree corner. Then make sure my eggs are going in the right direction and put this up in a 90-degree corner. And press. Then you have your paper exactly covering your card base. There we go. You can do that with your Misty also. Just so you know, if you don't have a score pal, you can grab your Misty or your any kind of tool with a 90-degree corner and do that same trick. Now I'm going to glue these down real quick. Then I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this. Okay, so I'll put that up. So I'm going to put this down, and then I will surprise you with what's next. You should know by now what's coming if you've been watching my videos. Let's see which way I want to do this. I think I want the gold stripe at the top. So let's put this in the center. Make sure I'm opening. Yep. Put this in the center. Okay. Looks good. It is straight. That would be good, right? Okay. I love those vertical lines. Okay, and then guess who's coming for a visit? Isn't he cute? So he's going to sit right there. And then another sentiment from the stamp and die of the month is going to go right there. Live life in full bloom. So let's go ahead and add this little cuteness onto our card. Let's see. I think I'm not going to pop them up because I don't want to have to try to pop up this sentiment. So I think we're going to lay him down because we already have some dimension both in the 3D in the background, and I've also popped up the panels behind him, the die cuts back here. So let's go ahead and place him right here. And I chose the sentiment life is in full bloom because if you notice, the background has eggs and flowers, and so does the image. So I thought this was a good combination of items that really coordinated well together. Like I said, this Simon Hurley's set of bunnies and eggs and everything for Easter goes along with this club kit so well this month. The whole caboodle it does. So look at that. Just using a piece of paper from an old set, bringing in the Easter Bunny. I have heat embossed this in black and then colored it with simple Copic coloring. Pulled in those colors from the pattern paper here in the stripes. Added those stripes. They're 1/4 inch, a 1/4 inch stripes. And then simply added some die cut layers. Added my image and an easy sentiment. And if you're wondering where all this is from, it is from the Simon Hurley's, let me see, let me grab it, Easter Bunnies stamp and die set. So it will be linked down below if you're interested. And as always, thank you for visiting. And if you'd like to see more videos, I have them running all week long for the clubs for Spellbinders February 2024. See you next one. Bye-bye, friends.